What's good, fam? We back in this thing, baby. Y'all ready for some fun? Because, man, after the week, I won't even say week, the couple days I had, yeah, we're going to have to talk about it. And the main thing that happened was I learned some things about these races. But before we even get started, I got to check in with the fam. How y'all doing out there, man? It's Sunday. I know y'all getting ready for Monday. I know y'all had that great week and y'all ready to get this new one going. But we got to check in with the Margaret. What's going on, fam? Kima, I see you in there. I've been talking to Kima in the background. Hey, Kima, it's time to get busy. It's time to get busy. You got that van and it's time to get these wheels to turning because that's the only way you're going to make these bags, baby. Yeah, that Dallas area, though, it's gonna do you real good. It's out of a lot of areas I go to, Dallas. I would think Houston, but no. That Dallas, Houston, San Antonio triangle, most of that work, a lot of it, more of it comes out of Dallas. Then comes Houston. Austin's last. San Antonio comes out, but when I say Austin, don't think Austin. Think about the areas around Austin, like the Round Rocks and all that. But Dallas, you definitely gonna eat, and it's gonna get you up out of there. A lot of Dallas loads get you up out of there. So you gonna be good. You gonna be good. Above sky level. I like that name. You trying to get started with that pickup truck? Now, I have seen it, but the thing with it is I haven't seen them actually loaded. I've seen them like pulling in places. I don't know if they were already contracted with these individuals that they're pulling up to. I haven't actually seen it loaded. So I guess that's something we both gonna learn together when you get it started. Go down that rabbit hole, teach us some stuff, and let us know how it works out there. But I have seen people load pallets in the back of pickup trucks. I have seen that. Boss lady. What's going on? We are the boss lady. Think about that. I'll let y'all think about that for a second. But nah, fam, what's good with y'all? I know y'all wondering because I told you we was gonna talk about these rates. And last live, one of the fam asked like, what the rates were in different areas. Y'all know, been out to California, and everybody just basically knows gas mileage California is high. But they had something going when I was out there. Remember I told y'all they were like starting out them 50 cents. I don't know what it is. It's like 48, 50, 52. That's what they were starting with, and it just wasn't making sense. Well, this past week when I got down to Florida, down there by Miami, I started noticing the same thing because you know me, I'm looking for the loads on the way. So even though I was on my way to Florida, I was already looking for the next day because I knew I was going to get there early that morning so I could figure out what was going on. And I started seeing the same thing that looked like Cali. And I'm going to explain to you why it was not making sense to me. So when I'm thinking partials, and I might be totally wrong, this is just how my mind was working. I'm thinking a box truck, a dry van, something of that nature is driving through. They already got a load, and they're going to pick up like a load, throw something extra in there, and keep going to the destination. So say I'm leaving Georgia, possibly going to, I don't know, New Mexico. And en route, I pass through like Tennessee or something like that, maybe even Arizona. And it's another load going to where I'm going in New Mexico. And they got it. I throw it in the back of the truck. Good to go. That's what I'm thinking, partial rate. So when I'm talking to the gentlemen, the people that I talk to, like quite a few in Florida, same way in California, Miami's down at the bottom. Los Angeles is over in the corner. Obviously, there's not much passing through. Yes, it's more possible for California because, you know, coming down from like Sacramento or something, it might take you through Los Angeles and you pick something else up. But Miami, you're not driving across the water up into Miami and then keep going up. Like you purposely have to either go down in Miami from like Jacksonville or Orlando, anywhere from top of Florida. You have to drive down there, pick it up, and come back up. So I'm thinking that's more of a starting point in anything. So I'm like, they're giving partial rates to get somebody started. If I'm getting started out on the road and I'm trying to get up out of there, and it's because they were always like 1, 2, 3 pallets. It wasn't a lot. And I'm like, I'm not just leaving out of there going to, let's say, 1,000 miles for $250. It just wasn't making sense. So I started asking those questions. Like, hey, how did you calculate this rate? Because remember, I had told you before, I've talked to different brokers. Some brokers, they have these formulas, which I'll tap into that as I explain the Florida thing. And then some brokers, they either been the driver or they've been in the game so long that they understand that drivers are trying to do by the mile. They get it. So they give you that rate right at what you want it, or a little bit above or a little bit below to leave themselves some wiggle room for negotiation. But when I was talking to Florida, and it happened like 1 or 2 times, and I said, I got a question. I just, y'all know your boy. I just start talking to them. Hey, I got a question for you. Can you explain to me how you're coming up with this rate? And they did. And I was like, that makes 0 sense. So I'm finna read a text exchange that I had with one of the brokers, because I really want to know where they're coming from. And I even told the broker that I wanted to bridge the gap. I want to bridge the gap because I talk to y'all. I want to help y'all as much as y'all help me. And I want to help them understand where we're coming from. So I actually talked to one, and I'm going to read y'all the email exchange. Of course, you know, we send a standard, give the MC and then ask how will a Sprinter van work. And he told me it was ready now. 2 pallets, 1,000 pounds. I'm going to tell you now, this load was going from Miami, Florida to Richmond, Virginia, 954 miles. Now, granted, I told you I got fam come out of Florida all the time, box truck, you thinking $2 a mile, $2.20 a mile, $2.15 a mile, trying to get it. Guess what? That's what he wants. And so he was like, hey, man, normally I get out of there. It takes like $1.74, $1.75, $1.80, like just to get out. And I'm like, okay. Based on his calculations, I did the percentage. And I'm like, all right, I normally take $1 for to get out of here because I've been there. I got something out of there before, but it was a weekend. That's when I picked up in Orlando and went to Dallas, Saturday pickup, drop off Monday. And I got it out of there for 85 cents a mile. I was like, so I done 85 before based on what he's averaging to get up out of here. I know I'm gonna be in the mid 90s, low 90s, bottom end, maybe 85 cents. That's what I'm thinking. So when he said it was 2 pallets, 1,000 pounds going 954 miles, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna start off a little bit below the $1 a mile just to get him going. So I say I'll be able to do it for 900. Thinking we good. He came back and he said 400. Now, I'm not the smartest man, but y'all do that math with me. That's less than 50 cents a mile. Nah, couldn't do it. So I had to flat out ask him. And he told, well, right after I said I couldn't do it, he was like, I mean, not sure why the rates are so high right now. Before I even go any further, if it was left up to us drivers, the rates aren't high enough. But he said he doesn't know why they're so high right now. Then he said that's close to a full truck rate, wouldn't you say? So you mean to tell me I asked for less than $1 a mile for 2 pallets, and he thought that was full truck rate. Now, granted, he's a great guy. We talked about it, broke it down. And so I tell him, because you know me, I'm looking at our rates. I'm like, the going full market rate for a box truck and a dry van is around $1.90 per mile. This was at that time. So this rate will put me at 94 cents a mile. So I'm like, box truck and all that, it's $1.90 a mile. I know it's full truckload rate. I get all that. I get less than truckload, but he was like a partial. And I'm thinking, okay, even if I did partial for a full, stick with me, a full truck, if they're looking for $2 a mile, it's going out for the sake of this, for what we're talking about, let's just bump it up to 1,000, even though it's like 954. That means for 1,000 miles, they would be closer to 2,000. If I dropped it down, 1,900 for a full truck. You're saying 2 pallets, 400. That's less than a truckload. The LTL, that still is bringing in like 20, 30 cents of what they want. It's ridiculous. So I went back with him because he said, and we were emailing at the same time. So when I pressed send, I got his at the same time. He basically said that the spot market is rounding out to 1,000 to 1,200. And that's when I had to, I'll tell you what I sent, right? When he sent the spot markets rounding out 1,000 to 1,200, because I was on the DAT board and he posted it on the DAT board, I went and got the market rate for the DAT, because you can remember I told you can get all that information through the app and all that. And it showed as of the first week of March that for contracted dry vans, they were running for $2.41 a mile. But for the spot market for dry vans, they were $2 a mile. Now, granted, when I tell you that, take into account That's the entire United States, the average. So let's be honest. So if one's part of the United States, they can get it for $2.25. The other part of the United States, they can get it for $1.75. Do the average, that's $2. So when I said my boy was getting out of Florida for like $1.74, $1.75, somebody else doing $2.25, that's where you get that DAT average. This is off the DAT board of $2. So when he's saying that the spot market rate is between 1,000 to 1,200, I'm like, even if I stuck with your number, stick with his number for 900 and something miles, that means the price for a full truck is what he's thinking would be $1,000 to $1,200 for a truck, which would be $1 to $1.20 roughly for a box truck or a dry van to take that load. And that's why he thought I was at the full market rate. But after he read what I sent, he was like, he understands. So he asked me what the best rate for 2 pallets was. And I told him I can do it for $8.75, which would have put me at 92 cents a mile. He tried to get it approved back and forth, but was not able to get it approved by the next day for the pickup. Because he had been going, granted, I've been watching these loads sit on the board all day. And I'm like, there's a reason nobody taking it. We already discussed that before. He talked with the client. And if y'all haven't seen the last video, I told you I had a load that was going to pick up right outside of Tampa going to Denver, Colorado. And I wasn't able to get that because the client was able to call around, whatever, and find somebody else. So that's basically what happened with this one. They wouldn't give me the $8.75 for 92 cents a mile. So they ended up finding somebody else. The reason I'm saying this because after talking to him and multiple brokers, the disconnect is the market rate we're using is the average for the United States. I learned that brokers are using the spot market rate for that particular state, obviously, because that's the starting point. The shipper is the one that's paying. So the shipper and the broker, I don't know what that disconnect is. Maybe the broker's not talking to the shipper to let them know, like, hey, your freight is this market rate, but it's leaving the state. I understand. Trust me, I get it. I get they're paying for what it is, where they're picking up from. But say somebody's going all the way to California, but I started in Mississippi. The gas in Mississippi is obviously way cheaper than the gas if I get out to California. But the shipper doesn't calculate that in. And the brokers, I don't believe, are explaining this stuff properly to the shipper. So whenever you're looking at market rates, keep in mind that, because remember, I told you the 2 different types of brokers that have the formula and the ones that have been in the game. So the ones that are going off that spot market rate for that area, they're not taking into a calculation that you're leaving outside of that state and going in other states. They're just taking a starting point. Think about gig apps or anything like that, or even in transportation. They're paying you to go from point A to point B. They're not paying for your deadhead. They don't care what happens when you get to the other end. Figure that out. They're paying from A to B. But in shipping, it throws me off because, say, FedEx, UPS, all that, when they do their calculations, they're calculating across the whole entire trip. Whereas there's some brokers that are sticking to the spot market rate for that particular state, and they're not calculating the whole entire trip. So, yes, if I was staying in Florida, that would be great. That makes sense why that load that was going from Miami to, I forgot, somewhere up there by Pensacola, that was 600 miles. And I was trying to get, it was like $500. I explained all that in the last video, and they wouldn't do it. That makes sense because that load was staying inside of Florida and they were trying to hit it for the spot market rate. The problem with that is because their spot market rate also includes their formula. So for lack of better words, say a broker, they get 20% off the load. Stick with me here. I want to help y'all understand this. Let's say 500 miles. So say there's a load going somewhere 500 miles. The broker's talking to the shipper. They know a dry van, box truck they have, because there's not really a space on any board, like it's us having to do that for ourselves, that says the spot market rate for Sprinter van is this. It's dry vans. It doesn't even say box trucks. It says dry vans, reefers, all that. So let's stick with those numbers. So 500 miles, if I'm the going rate is $2 a mile for a dry van, that's $1,000. So if it's going 500 miles, the broker negotiates with the shipper and say they come up with a price of $1,500. That means that broker, if everything worked the way it was supposed to go, that broker would be trying to get it to that driver for 1,000. They would keep 500. That's roughly like 33%. Y'all know how I feel about that. I believe it should be some 70-30, 80-20. I believe that should how it be. But that's not how it happens. So if we stick to the broker trying to take money, let's stick with this side. There are brokers out there that'll say 1,500, and then they'll start the bidding at 600, 700, hoping that somebody takes that load at that lower rate so that they can pocket. If we say 600, that means they get to pocket $900. But as a driver, if you go, because remember, they starting low, you start high. When they go low, I go lower. Y'all know what I'm talking about. So if they're starting at 600, I'm finna start at 1,200, 1,300. And then we meet in the middle. And sometimes that can look like 900 to go 500 miles if we're talking drive-ins. Stick with me. So that's 900 to 1,000. Y'all meet in the middle. That means that broker keeps the rest of that money. And that's the part of the formula I understand it, but I don't care for it, because while you're driving, they're going to give out 15, 16, 20 more loads. That's going to cover all that, and then make whatever. Not counting pockets. Just saying it just throws me off. So back to what I was saying. So that 500, that's how you would think it generally works. But right now, depending on going off that spot market rate, that's not how it goes. So say for that same 500 miles, but we're in Florida, so far from my research, Florida, California, mainly Los Angeles. If we're going off that spot market rate for the state that we're in, instead of the broker asking for 1,500, they're talking to the shipper, and the shipper understands the rates that they're sending. They most likely are going to say something like 750. So when you do 750 and the broker takes off their 20% for 500 miles, and that same 33% that we just talked about, which would be 250, 250, 250, they're already at 500 because they're going to take their 250 off the top. So they're already starting at 500. So what do they have to do? They have to bid lower. They start with the lower bid. So they hit you with the 250, 300 to take that low 500 miles and then negotiate in the middle. So that's that part I was telling you about. If y'all are still with me. That's why when you look at those rates in certain areas, you have to understand those spot market rates for that particular state or that area. Because not all, and don't get me wrong, this is not all brokers. They all use different formulas depending on the company that they work for. So this is not everybody. This is brokers having to work with shippers before it even gets to us. So some shippers understand, and this is what they have. This is what they're able to give. Because let's be honest, some companies aren't big companies. Some companies are the smaller companies, small businesses. They might only be sending 1 or 2 pallets a week, 3 pallets a week, might have 2 places that they ship to. They might not be these companies that are very huge and are sending 20, 30 pallets out a day or hundreds of pallets a day through different dry vans and all that stuff. So you have to keep that in mind when you're getting these loads, because of the simple fact, that's how you're going to get paid based on what the shipper is able to the broker is able to negotiate from the shipper on the first hand. That's the first thing that had to start before it even gets to you negotiating with the broker, if that makes sense. If it doesn't, let me know in the comments and we'll go a little deeper than that. But I gotta say what's up to all the fam that's tuning in. Man, y'all in here, boy, look at y'all. We have a backstroke building of a team drive, thinking about a sprinter van instead. What are your thoughts? One versus the other. So if you're team driving, that's when it can get kind of into the money. Now, if y'all are a couple, everything stays in the house. That's one thing. But if you're trying to team drive in a sprinter and you're splitting that money going to 2 different locations, one driver, and it's not in the same house, that can be kind of finicky, because then, we're already driving for the dollar plus if we're blessed, because we want those, especially those expedited loads. But if it's in-house, staying in-house, I can see it, because, you can move around a lot faster. The money for a sprinter doesn't come as fast as a box truck if that makes sense. And the availability of more loads are available for a box truck. So if I had a team driver, that's a finicky one, because I can see the positives and negatives of both. So it almost comes down to the people, your business. What do you feel more comfortable with? What type of money are you trying to make? How does the other driver feel? That's a negotiation thing where y'all have to compromise together, because it can go multiple ways depending on how your setup is. So that's a finicky one, because it comes down to the individuals, not the person. Yes, Andrew, that load was a partial for a box truck. That's how they. So when I told y'all before, if y'all don't remember, yes, there's Sprinter van loads. You can get them anywhere, but there's more places that you see more Sprinter vans than not. So the best way I can explain it is in your area as you go out and about, what do you see driving down the road? If you see a lot of Sprinter vans or box trucks and they got the same plates as the state you're in, then you can see there's obviously some type of work there, whether it be in gig apps, whether it be in running OTR or staying local, but you'll see that it's work there. If they're out of state plates, that mean they're probably passing through, drop the load, going somewhere else. So those are one of those big tails to know what's going on in your area based on what you see. Are you working at, hey, Apex is back. What's going on, fam? Are you working off of any expedited boards or brokers? So I do have a couple of brokers that we've worked with and we know. I call them, they call me, we get loads that way. No expedited boards as of now. We're in the process of looking at one. But the thing with it is, we just haven't, it hasn't, I won't say hasn't been a need, because there's always a need to go get more money. But it's more of a me thing. I'm one of those individuals. I have to learn stuff, and I'm not knocking nobody else. This is just how my mind works. I have to learn stuff as I move on to the next thing, because I don't know, it just throws me off. It's who I am. So yes, we are looking into that. Haven't crossed over to it yet. We've just been blessed with the brokers that we do talk to and work with over the past that have had stuff that got us going and kept us going. Been waiting on, well, Terry, fam, you've been waiting all week. I've been waiting all week to talk to y'all. Let's see. I just volume in my dispatch. Oh, and one of the questions that we had last week about the comments that repopulate. It says that after live is supposed to repopulate after 24 hours or so, give or take. I didn't see where it has done it yet, so I emailed YouTube to find out if I did something wrong or something that I'm not doing. Haven't heard back from them yet, so when I figure that out, I'll definitely let you know. So I'll start yelling out the questions as I read them, because I normally read them in my head. Jay says, my dispatch told me the broker was upset and I didn't stay professional and said, tell the broker this is how I feel in return. And a couple of hours later, the owner called me and said, emotions. Man, I told you, remember that video a couple videos back, like 2 or 3 back. I told you can't please everybody. That's something that I learned not just through my military career, not going down a rabbit hole or anything, but that's something that I've learned just watching interactions with, let's just say, police in the public. Because of a simple fact that if you don't live in a certain area, or you're from a certain place and you're in a certain area dealing with different people from all over the world, what your mannerisms and the way you speak, the way you talk, or that individual speaks or talk, they might bump heads and it can be taken as mean, aggressive. It can be taken as happy or cheerful. Remember, mental spectrum. It can be taken any kind of way, positive or negative, just because of a way somebody says something in the interaction. So it's going to be impossible to please everybody, because what I might say or what you might say, we might take it the wrong way. That's why they call it miscommunication or misunderstanding. It happens all the time, and sometimes that happens in business. That's the sad part. That's why when I tell y'all all the time, it sounds crazy because I'll say be professional, have email etiquette. I can say all those things till I'm blue in the face. But if you think about it on a wider lens, think about when you're talking to somebody on the phone. You know how you can tell they're smiling through the phone? Some people can call it fake. Some people can, or they call it code switching. Some people call it code switching. But at the same time, it's the only way that I can think of that gives that median. And then at the same time, there's the best part. When you work on yourself, that's that self-improvement, self-growth, and you start removing certain negative stuff out your life and certain attributes or people in your circle, something like that, you'll automatically start feeling and seeing the positive in everything. It's like business. When you got a business mind, you see all the business stuff. You feel, oh, there goes that tree over there. I can start a tree cutting business. That person's yard looks like this. I can start a grass cutting business. When you have a business mind, you start seeing business. If you're always listening and intaking negative stuff, what happens? You always see the negative. So when you work on yourself, personal accountability and all that stuff and make yourself better, you'll see the positive in everything. And that translates out into, it's hard for people to misunderstand you if you're always positive and happy. The words might be a little different, but it's hard for them to misunderstand you. So that's something that I had to work on for myself, and that's what I try to help others with as well. Because that first step is when you're positive, you're happy, you got that positive energy always coming off, and you don't look at stuff as always bad, negative. You always find the good in things. I'm not saying be naive and be taken advantage of, but when you start doing that, people start seeing things differently. Andrew, how do you team drive in a box truck? Does the box truck have a sleeper? So no. So it depends. I've seen one like the box truck bros, they put a sleeper in one of theirs, but you don't necessarily have to have a sleeper for a box truck. What I've seen since being out here, say you have two drivers, because technically, because the box truck still has to follow the same regulations as a drive-in. They still have the logs and all that, the LD, so they can only drive so many hours. So say you have a load that's going 1,000 miles. Technically, based off the ELD, you cannot make 1,000 miles on for one driver in one trip. Normally, a person driving, I say it's roughly, and this is depend. This is a driver that's really getting it. You can get to about 500 to 600 miles on one driver driving constantly with their brakes, with a lot of time that you're allowed to drive, but you get the team driver, so that 1,000-mile trip. Both one driver can drive, get out the car, not the truck, the other one drive, you get to the destination, drop the load, go get a hotel. And it sounds crazy, but those box trucks and Sprinter vans, even big rigs, they're in hotels. Every one I go to, there's one, two, or if not all three there, even in the middle of the week. So don't get it twisted thinking people aren't checking in hotels. So that's how they do it, so you can get the load there faster. And they actually ask for team drivers a lot, especially over the weekend, and if it's something they got to get there. Thanks. Well, you're a couple in the house. Okay, boss lady. Yeah, y'all a couple in the house. Then yes, I'm with what you're saying. You in Georgia, you don't even really have to do it. Georgia eats so well, like that area. Y'all gonna eat anywhere. Jamar, in Texas, after you get your authority, your BOC3 and your NCRS, is there anything else you need? He's asking to get started. So once you get all that stuff submitted, trying to think. Not that I can think of to get started. No, got your insurance, got all that stuff. Once your MC goes active, yeah, you're good to go. You're able to start looking out there, getting in touch with people, whether it be brokers or carriers or dispatchers, to start helping you get that work. So yeah, you're good to go after that, Jamar. Navi, what's going on? Me and Navi had an amazing chat today. He, one of the fam that, I tell y'all all the time, like we do that one-on-one. Navi's on his way for great things, man. It was great talking to you. I can't wait till we talk again, man. Navi's good people. Andrew, he told me we need to build a community to get to Selectus. Too expensive for a small guy. So one thing I know about Selectus, because I asked dispatch, I talk to everybody, asked some of the dispatchers about it, because of the simple fact, I'm like, how are y'all paying these rates? Look at it from this. So Selectus is like any other board. When you call and talk to somebody, because there's normally a team of people that handle your stuff, handle your login and all that stuff. It's like a team. You can negotiate those rates to get it to like your incoming rate and as well as your monthly rate. So I want you to look at this way, because it's all about making money. So say the Selectus board, say you get a rate that you're able to talk them down to paying $150 a month. Don't look at it as though like, hey, that's a lot coming out the pocket. Because in all actuality, one load can pay for your Selectus for a year. That's why I always tell about having your money separate for separate things. So once you get going, I'm not saying go out and run Selectus and your MC just got activated 2 weeks ago. That's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about once the season mature, because the same requirements are still necessary over there. So once you have the mature MC and it's good to go and you're able to get those loads, if you negotiate that price down for your Selectus board to a certain amount, that's on you to do that negotiating, because it is high if you don't do any negotiating. And you're able to get that amount, then think of it that way. You get that one, maybe two good loads, put that money to the side, or pay it for the year, and you don't even have to worry about it anymore. The reason I'm saying that is because in business, I want to help everybody get in the minds, because we understand that if you don't make money, you actually go out of business. but I also want you to get in a mindset that you have to also spend money to make said money. If that requires you getting that blow board because it's directed at us, and don't get me wrong, when I get in there and I got it in my hands, I'm going to walk y'all through that. But once you get in that mindset of, and I'm not talking about wasteful money, I'm talking about money to help advance your business. Once you get in that mindset that you have to sometimes spend money to make that extra money, then you won't see it as an issue for getting that board. And it also depends on what you're open to. So I wouldn't obviously say go get selected saying you want to stay in the city that you're in. That kind of is counterproductive. But if you're one of those that's ready to go regional or over the road and you're ready to get that kind of, and you've got your feet wet, you understand it, I don't see a reason with paying that money. But I do agree, if we can work together on some stuff, I'm always here for it. Appreciate you, Mo. He said I'm the only one that's showing both sides of trucking. I'm just out there showing what I learned because I believe in the transparency. When we both can understand all the sides of it, I believe that's what makes success. I believe there are a lot of people out there that try to help. And then there are those people that know it, but they're not YouTubers or people that want to talk on content. I understand both sides of it. And again, it's only so much you can do inside of a video. It requires you to go live because if somebody really sat down and tried to explain all this to us in a video, that video will probably be hours or broken up into 32 parts. And most people like us, we're not going to sit there. So as I learn it, I give it to you, dissect it. That's probably why some people have already asked me to start making courses and books. Not for y'all, fam. Y'all been rocking with me. For those people, we'll still make it. Jay, yes, Sundays. Jay asked if Sunday is going to be the best day to book the one-on-ones. The reason it's Sunday is because, as y'all know and y'all seen during the week, I'm running. I don't even answer half the YouTube questions because I'm running. Like it's drive, sleep, eat, drive, sleep, eat. That's what I like to do. And so I had to sit down because of some of the questions that people were asking. The fan was asking, like, I need this, I need that. And I'm like, we're going to dedicate Sunday. So Sundays are the one-on-ones, and then we have the live. If something else changes between now and then, I will definitely let y'all know. But that's why I made sure it was Sunday so y'all didn't have to wonder, like, hey, where are you at? Why you can't get in touch with you? So that one day is all for you all because y'all show so much love just supporting the videos, liking and sharing everything. Is like I had to figure out a way, and that's where Sundays came from. Hey, Sean, what's up? Hey, Sean, me and Sean and his amazing wife, Sean. We already talked about that. We can't leave these amazing women we have out of it because without it, had a one-on-one with Sean today. Great, great guy. Sean, I can't wait for you to get out here and start getting his money. I know your wife. She's amazing, man. His wife gave some amazing ideas, and some of them I'm going to implement because it's all to help us get better. One of the ideas so we can help identify each other while we out and about. But don't worry, I'm going to tap into that, and I'm going to let y'all know when that gets going so we can talk one-on-one into that. But yeah, Sean, you are definitely right. It was a great time talking to you today too, my friend. Man, y'all are coming through. I'm trying to keep up. So as y'all come in, it's just going up, and I'm trying to scroll back up. Appreciate you too, Navi. Appreciate you too, Jay. Man, I appreciate y'all. So Navi, his statement saying, I appreciate the insight and discussing it with the wife. The reason I'm saying that, and the reason I say about wife, and obviously this does not apply to you if you're not married. If you have a husband, wife, spouse, whatever it is, I'm an advocate that I don't care what it is that either one of you are trying to do. If y'all don't discuss it together and work together with it, it'll never be successful. It's impossible. Because that's why you get married, you become one. I'm not going down that whole rabbit hole, but that's why we talk about the spouses, and that's why now we're saying what we're saying. But yeah, for the low boards you're using, do they have a minimal vehicle year requirement? No, they do not. Or do they have a maximum allowance for mileage? Nope. The low boards don't look at that. Don't care about that. They want to know that your MC is active. They're going to look at that. Like I know the DAT board, you can't even get on it until you have it. You can't even get on it with a DOT. You have to have an MC. Yes, Ned, I've learned a lot from everything Apex. I appreciate him as well, but trying to give what we can out here. But I'm like you. I learned a lot because I tell y'all all the time, research, go down them rabbit holes, man. if you're doing anything in business, I know we're talking about cargo, but I don't care if you want to do basket weaving. I don't want to care if you want to do flower arrangements. Go down the rabbit hole. I'm gonna give you an example because this is the way my research brain goes. It was a young lady that was in Missouri, and she was into sewing, like sewing quilts and all that stuff. And what happened was her kids, as they were coming around, they were like, "Hey, mom, you should record this." And like, nobody wants to see me sewing quilts. That's what she thought, because nobody thinks nobody wants to see it. Well, in all actuality, somebody did want to see it, because they started slowly showing her sewing quilts and making quilts, and she's holding them up. Go to the next one, sew, hold it up. And what happened was a lot of people started tuning in, asking her, "Can you teach us how to do this?" So she started teaching people how to make quilts. Then it was, what supplies are you using? Where do we get them from? And over time, it went from her YouTube started getting monetized. It went from her sewing quilts, making quilts, teaching you how to make the quilts. Then what kind of supplies, and can you send them to us, because we don't have it in our area. That's probably where that e-commerce and stuff started way back then, with people like her. And so before you knew it, she started needing help. So she started getting machines, sewing machines. The people that she was teaching, they were coming in and she was teaching them. So now the YouTube channel is her showing people in her area that are helping her make the quilts, because people wanted to. There are people that don't want to learn how to make the quilts, that don't want them to use the supply. They just want you to make the quilt and send it to them. So she started needing help to make the quilts and mail them to people. Then it got more bigger and bigger, and to the point where she had to go get a building. And she made the quilts in the building and started buying industrial machinery. She didn't want to buy it, but her husband is like, "This is expanding. I don't want you to wear yourself out. We got to spend this money that I just talked about to start making this business grow." So they get industrial machines, and they're in a small town in Missouri. And they started getting these industrial machines, getting stuff sent out. They started ordering supplies in bulk. It's turning into a business. She's still making the YouTube videos of how-tos, and it starts growing and growing and growing. Her business, based off that YouTube, her daughter's telling her, "You should be on YouTube showing people you're making a quilt." It got so big that they started employing, got a bigger warehouse, employed the people in the warehouse. Money still continued to grow to where they invested in little small hotels, because people started coming in to sit through classes with her. So they invested and got a hotel. And then it started bringing in small restaurant chains. So they bought restaurant chains like McDonald's, Burger King, stuff like that. And before you knew it, she had her town that was small booming and supplying jobs to everybody, making money through the stuff she was selling, making money through the YouTubes, making money through the hotels, through the fast food chain, all because somebody said, her daughter, "You should show somebody how you make these quilts." So again, I tell you, always record, because it doesn't matter what it is. Somebody's watching. Somebody needs it. Over here, we're just being transparent. I hope y'all win. I don't care who wins. I want everybody to win, but I don't care if you take off over here and you take off over here, and I'm just sitting back watching y'all blow. That's what my purpose is in life. I like to help others, and I like to see you win. But all it took was making a video. That's why I say just record what you're doing. Even if you don't want to be on the face, still record it. Talk over the video. Put music over it. It doesn't matter. Just record what you're doing, because somebody wants to see it. Who knew? I started recording. It wasn't because of me. We're back to these wonderful women in our life. My wife was like, "I'm finna record you." VHO. I wasn't making no video for VHO, but she was like, "Hey, make the video." Made the video, and then here we are today on live talking to y'all. I didn't think nobody wanted to see this kind of stuff, but hey, I'm going to teach what I know and tell what I got, and hopefully it helped one of y'all succeed, because I want all of y'all to win. Let's see. Learn value information. Yep, fam. Oh my God. Eric say her basket weaving is oversaturated. You crazy, fam. You crazy. Somebody said, how old was your MC before you got your first broker load? For those that are new to the fam, still running out of fam, under fam, letting them. My fam has an MC, been doing it about almost 3 years now. So I was able to be blessed to have a fam that was able to run under him, still letting stuff mature. So the only difference is, because we've been fam for a while. That's why I'm showing it's not as hard as you think it is. He just sends, because it has to go to him. I find everything, book everything. They send him the paperwork. He just sends it over to me once it's signed. He's basically, the fam is the signature. And he lets your boy rock out and go get what he needs to get this money. $300K insurance on DAT load board with brokers work with your 6 months of MC active. So $300K insurance, that's only to get you going on DAT, but to actually get the lows, the vast majority of brokers are going to want you to have that meal. That's just the key. And the reason that is because everybody that has MC numbers aren't necessarily like OTR people. You need MC numbers to do any commercial thing. We kind of touched on it before, but even and you don't need this for this, but like how people are doing gig apps, you actually need commercial insurance if you look at the fine print to do gig apps. But to do commercially stuff on a state level, I know for Texas you need DOT. And if you're going to do stuff that actually cross lines, like we're right here by Louisiana, if I do anything commercial that cross over to Louisiana, I actually need that authority, MC authority, to actually do that. So that's why the insurance only $300K. I mean, the requirement's only $300K for FMCSA is so that you can actually operate in a commercial capacity. You could be driving buses. That's a whole nother thing that you need a DOT for. You see what I'm saying? Like it's multiple things you need a DOT number for, but for what we're doing with the load board, the $300K is just the approval to get you to MC, which you need to have an MC before you can even get on the DAT load board. Yes. Hey, you say bless my wife. She picked the winner. I don't know who winning in this situation. There's days I think it's me. If you ask me, I'm gonna think it's me. But if you ask her, she's definitely gonna say her, which I gotta agree with. I guess I'll let her have that one. I'm agree with her this one time. It's not very often that it happens, but I guess I agree this time. But in all actuality, she did pick a winner. winner chicken dinner, because it's like going to the casino. Sometimes you crap out, but over here she hit the jackpot. But I can't lie, I did too, man. I wouldn't have picked another one. We good to go over here. It's blessed. I'm not even, when I say stay blessed, somebody asked and somebody said, and we just gonna tap on this a little bit. It was like, man, this guy is not always like this. And I understood the person. I'm not even worried about it. I think it was a kid, to be honest with you. But hey, kids are welcome too. If you need to learn, get some into. Hey, stay over here with us. We got you over here, fam. We take care of everybody. But she was down there laughing at me right there because, believe it or not, I'm like this all the time. I didn't used to be. I told y'all about the young dude, not throwing into the crash out me. But I've told people this before, like the stuff I've seen, been through, not just military, because that counts too. But even before then, like I'm pretty sure my life story isn't too often some of y'all's life story. I have to stay blessed, and I love God for it, because to be honest with you, if I look at what's going on in the world today, what I saw growing up and the things I made it through, I tell people all the time, I should be dead in the grave. So no, once you do that mental and that accountability and do that self-work and that personal development to improve yourself, and you start seeing things the way I see it from the past to where I'm at now, like with me and my family, we talked about the wife, our families and all that stuff. Like, and this is, and I don't want nobody to take this the wrong way, and it's like, but it's the transparency of you knowing me and why I am how I am. We've been blessed to the point that my wife and I, for one, don't have to do anything. We're good to go the rest of our life. Our kids are straight. And everybody's looking at why they're asking, why are you sharing so much with this? Because for one, I want y'all to win. But I've told y'all before, this is something that's built for the people behind me. Me and my wife are working on this, not just for us and our family. It's for the people behind us so that they don't have to, you know how they say, get it out the mud. If they want it, they want it. If they don't, they don't. And when I say get the people behind me, I'm not talking about our kids. My wife and I are working on third and fourth generation stuff, if that makes sense. So that's the reason of the sharing, because I'm not no different than any of you. The stuff I went through, the stuff I've seen, all that, the reason I think I feel and think the way I do, I'm not no different than y'all. I just had different cards play this way. If you think, and to be honest with yourself, because this is part of that accountability, there are decisions we've all made that could have had us go left or right. I had certain people, dad mainly at this point, that said, you're going to the military. Back then, we're the yes generation. We're not the Y generation. You told to do something, you did it. So I did it. I went that way. And that's how and he did a lot of talking throughout those 20 years. But I had a good support system behind me, that wonderful, amazing wife I'm telling you about, and that family, and they hold you accountable. And that's what got us here. And that's why I feel like these blessings and giving back is such a huge thing, because the same way I had that support system, y'all are a support system now. We're doing this. So if I'm willing to take care of my family with the support that they showed me, the support that y'all are showing, why wouldn't I take care of y'all too? So anything that I know and can think of, or y'all ask questions and I got the answer, I'm going to give it to y'all, because that's what support is. I told y'all a long time ago, I'm not into making courses. Do I know how? Yes, that was part of my job in the military. Do I know how to write books? Yes, I've already written 3. My wife has written more than me. That I was going to plan on selling them? No, but multiple people have asked, I want a course, I want a book. So when it pops up that courses and books are available, they're not directed at the fam that don't want it. It's directed at the individuals that ask for it, because as much as y'all support me the same way my fam is the reason I'm here today, I'm going to support y'all with giving everything that I got to help y'all get to where y'all need to go. Let's see here. $300K could work for direct shippers, but not for brokers. So back to that insurance, if you had that $300K, that gets you to MC. Remember, I told you need that just to do commercial work crossing state line. If you got a direct shipper and know people and have those contacts ahead of time, they don't care about the $1 million insurance. The main thing is their cargo insured. Make sure their stuff is insured. But other than that, you're good to go. Somebody say, get 2 million liability, you'll be good. You will definitely be good. Will it be overkill? Yes. But if you want to make sure you can get everything possible, because remember I told you, the $1 million insurance, normally you get the 100K cargo, but there are brokers out there that be like, I want 200K, I want 250K. So there's no such thing as, oh, just going, your payment's going to be high. Saw Bucky's and thought about me. Which one? 733, 738. That means you were going towards you were over there by the San Antonio end. Yeah. The one, yeah, unless you're going towards College Station. Anyway, I mean Prairie View. Great question, Ned. After your authority ages, would you consider others to run under you while our authority ages? I understand there should be a rigorous vetting process. I want everybody to look at me. Give me squeeze in close. I'm going to give y'all everything I know, but I am the person, and I'm telling you because I am like this. I don't know if it's my mom. I don't know if it's my upbringing, whatever you call it. They say never let your left hand know what your right hand to do it, or whatever it's like that. Until I can figure the process or process, however you want to say it, I have to do something. And this is just how I am. I told you about moving on to the different load boards. I have to learn something first in order to give it to y'all. But at the same time, with that being said, I let God direct that. So if we get to that point and that's what God says do, I'm right on board with you. Believe me, I told you, if that's what God says do, you're going to be the first one to know, because, hey, I talk to y'all. Fam, it's always going to be first. If that was to happen, it wouldn't be no, let me go to Indeed. No, I'll be sitting on live like this and we're going to have a whole conversation. To be honest, you better be ready if that was to happen, because you might be on live getting the interview. But no, fam, I don't know yet. I don't. And that's part of that new person when you do the self-accountability and you put work under God's plan. And this is going to sound crazy if you haven't gotten there yet, but those that are there know what I'm talking about. When you act like, when you're under God's plan, you talk to him and make ideas, but you don't tell God what you're going to do, because then that's not part of his plan. I literally go where the wind blows. Wherever he tells me to go, I go. I stop trying to put it I know what I ask God for our family, but if once I give it to him, I can't keep taking it out of his hand, because then it'll never happen. I put it in his hand, and wherever he goes, it goes. So when that time comes, best believe if he says we got an MC and we want fam running under it, then I'm running that direction. And y'all will be the only people I tell. I promise you. I'm not doing Indeed. We're not going out there putting articles and websites and all that. I'm coming straight here. And I'm talking to y'all one-on-one like we're doing now. And I will let y'all know if that's the process and the plan that God has for us. And y'all to be the ones that we're talking to. Y'all to be the ones that me and my wife and family vet to see who we bring it on, if that's the way God tells us to go. But then again, what we're doing right now, if you're following God's plan, you're probably going to be way ahead of us before we even get there. So either way it go, we're going to learn together, because I'm going to let you know as soon as I find out. Trust, I promise you. Katie's Bucky's is exit 739. I told you the one going towards San Antonio. That's the only one it could be. The one going towards South. I thought it might have been the one going to Preview, but nah, that ain't it. Let's see. Y'all threw so many in there. I gotta go back up. Where did I stop it? The Quick family. They here. You ain't late, man. Y'all here. Y'all good. We love that for y'all. Y'all here. That's the Quicks. They amazing. Andrew, see, and hey, Andrew, you're right. And then broke. He was saying he's letting you know that that's called leasing on, and that gets expensive, usually around 20%. The 20% lease on plus stable rates equals failure. I agree. But remember who we are. We'll see what God has for the future, but remember who we are. But not everyone is comfortable with random people running under them. You are right. It is a huge risk, Ned. That is true, because that's your MC you running. That somebody has to run under. But no, like I told you, fam, just keep doing what we're doing now. Let's keep moving forward. We're gonna move forward together. And whatever happens, I promise you, everything that happens, you will be the first ones to know. I promise you that. Like, okay, let me give you a good example. If you don't think you're gonna be the first ones to know. I've told you before, people talk and ask questions on TikTok, IG, all that. My wife does an amazing job of, when I'm rolling, saying people come over here, but not everybody comes. When I say y'all will be the first to know, you literally will be the first to know, because when I'm home answering questions, or if I have time to answer questions on YouTube, I don't even go to IG or to TikTok to answer questions, because it's going to get redundant. It's only so many hours in a day. It's only so many. I literally talk to y'all through all of the YouTube, because think of it this way. If you got a family, you do have a family. How many families are you trying to build? Now, I love my amazing wife, but I would look kind of bad if I was trying to build families in 2 other locations besides this one. See what I'm saying? So I'm building the fam on YouTube. I'm not building the fam on YouTube, IG, TikTok. That's just to let people know what we got going on, to filter them over here. But we only building one family, this family. IG, TikTok, and some of y'all came from IG and TikTok over here, because we're a fam over here. Not building 3 families. I'm building one. We are all going to be one family under YouTube. If something else happens, something else crazy changes, we're going to move the family to another location. The same way you move from state to state and all that. We're not just going to go build another family outside of this family. That's the only way my mind works. I told you this already. One thing, I'm locked in. That's why when there's like the different low boards, I'll eventually get to it. But before I can go to the other thing, I got to lock in on the one thing and build that first. So yeah, y'all are the fam first. Let's see. Fam, so brokers will work with you with 6 months active MC? Yes. So there are brokers, and when I didn't do it again. I'm sorry. My bad. I forgot. I didn't even go look. It's somewhere. I printed it out, or it's in email, and I don't know where I put it. I meant to get that list for y'all. Darn it. I'm sorry. Got to write that down. Get broker list. Because even still, when you even sign, so the broker list I'm talking about, once you get your MC active, I don't know if all factoring companies do this, but when you sign up with OTR and you go with them, because again, a team on OTR, you sign up with them, they're going to send you a list of all the brokers that start off working with new MCs. Reason being, because they're your factoring company. They're in the business of making money. So they want you to make money. So they send you a list of brokers. I tell you all the time, TQL is one of them. I know some people don't like TQL. I have no problem with TQL unless I'm in California or Florida, which we discussed that already with the rates, because they act like they don't know who you are anymore when you get to them areas. It could be more, but that's just the 2 I know. But TQL, you only have to be active one day. So you get your MC, you're active, go to bed, wake up the next day on the low board. If you find TQL lows, they're going to send you the carrier package. You fill it out, and then you go about your business. But they're going to send you a list. And that was that list of, so once you get your active on MC, I don't know what factoring company y'all use, but if you go with OTR, they're going to send you a list. And that's when I would go to, me personally, go to the website and start finding their carrier packages. If they don't have one, when you find one on the low board, ask them to send it to you so you can get approved already. So as lows pop up, you can work with them. But some brokers, 1 month, some require 3 months, some require 6 months. Most brokers are going to be around that year range, but they're out there that'll do 1, 3, 6. I've even seen brokers that say it has to be 2 years. So it all depends. But there are brokers out there that will work with you straight out the gate. And it's not many of them. I'm not finna lie like it's thousands of brokers. But look at it from this point of view. There are brokers that everybody doesn't have a big company. The same way you're starting out, which I kind of explained before. There are brokers that are sitting there and it's them and one other person. There are brokers where it's just them. They're starting a company. They don't mind working with a new MC because they're new themselves. They might have worked for another company, like one of the guys in Florida, the load that I had that was going from outside of Tampa up to Denver. He used to work for TQL, and then he worked for another company, but it was him and one other guy. But he knew all the information. He knew the game, but because he worked at TQL, ran his own team and everything. So he's one of those that, hey, you're the good person. He doesn't even go off of authority time. That broke. They go off of talking to you. That's that business etiquette. When they don't have the email button, you actually have to call them, and they're going to talk to you. He's going to have a conversation. He's going off that vibe. He's listening to you, talking to you. If you're talking and know what you're doing, he's going to work with you. That's why I tell you all the time, know what you're talking about. And that's why I've told you also before, it makes a difference between that, like we just said earlier, how people can tell you're smiling through the phone. People can tell on the other end of the phone and feel your energy and vibe. That's a big indicator of what your business looks like. If you seem like you got a bad attitude, you got a problem, like that means your business, either you're having a bad day, that's possible, but your business is not going to run effectively. And they can hear that the same way you can hear when somebody else is talking to you. Another thing, we're not touching on that tonight, but like you see the crackdown, it's certain things that brokers are like, I want somebody that, matter of fact, the one I'm doing tomorrow, it literally says on the rate con, English speaking only. It all depends on who you're talking to at that moment. But for the most part, if you're just going off the surface level of what the load board says, 1, 3, 6, but mainly 12. But there's a difference when you make a phone call. And the stuff that we talk about, even if you're a new MC and you catch the right broker, back to this conversation, you catch the right broker and you know what they're talking about when they're talking about BOLs and PODs. That's why we go over these acronyms. That's why we talk about certain things. That's why I explain the emails to you, because there have been loads that I've gotten that I was given the load before we even got to the MC. They was like, the load is yours. And then they'd be like, oh, I need your driver information. I need your dispatch information. I need your MC. They had already said the load was mine and was going to give it to me just because we knew what we were talking about. I had a friendly conversation. So keep that in mind. Yes, for the most part, they have to do that because it's their business. They don't know you. You don't know them. They got to get cargo moved, but they need to know it's going to get there. And most people, not y'all, fam, because we talk, most people on day 1, day 2, day 3, they just ran out there, saw some YouTube videos, 1 or 2, didn't do any research, just saw somebody say, you can make $2,000 a load, and they got happy, went and paid for everything, and hopped on there, and then said, I want to take a load. And they have no idea, none of the stuff that we're learning together, or what to do or how to do it. Dispatcher doesn't want to get, a broker doesn't want to get that load because you're not going to know what to do. So that's why it's for those requirements. That's why I share everything I know. So when the time comes for you to go active and you start talking to these individuals, whether it be by phone or email, you'll have a general understanding of what you're listening to and what you're speaking about. Andrew talking about, I suggested it. You're right, fam. You're right. I'm not gonna steal the thunder. I'm not gonna steal the shine. Let's see. Texas is too big. You in and out of these East Coast. Hey, fam. I told y'all, I keep telling you, that was Jay talking about how big Texas is and how I'm moving around. I tell you, I literally go, because remember I say it all the time, what's for me is for me. I already put the plan that me and my family have in God's hand. If he say go here, I'm go. That's all it is to it. I've seen lows, because again, I'm still human. I've seen lows sit on the board, and I'm like, keep scrolling, keep scrolling. And I'm like, but that might not be the one. And then after so many hours, I'm like, oh, that's sitting there for a reason. And it's called, and it's like, one loaf in particular literally sat there, and it said on there, Sprinter van is okay. You would think it would be guys normally gone, especially when people see Sprinter okay. That load sat there all day long. I called. The dude didn't even really ask me any questions and gave me the load. I go where the wind, where God tells me. I'm just here freely. Like wherever he tells me to go, I'm going because he knows the plan. He knows what needs to be accomplished. And then as crazy as it sounds to some people, think about the questions y'all asking. I'm like, yeah, I'll figure it out for you. I'll help go down the rabbit hole with you. He always directs me somewhere to get information to come back so we can talk about it. Think about that. I know some of the new fam didn't catch some of it, but every time, like, yeah, we'll do it. I remember one time, like I was saying, hey, next time I get back to the house, I'll sit down and figure out how we can talk one-on-one or make something up. The very next load sent me right back to the house. And I didn't get a load for like 2 days. And I was sitting there like, what's going on? That's right, God, I didn't do it. And as soon as I sat down, built the schedule for the one-on-ones, as soon as I sat down and started figuring out how to set up a live and everything, got that done the very next day I had a load and I was gone. It's hard for y'all to see it because you aren't in my life. But I promise you, when you follow his plan, things just fall into place. So yeah, fam, I know Texas is big. I remember when I said, I'm going to figure out how to stay local in Texas. God ran me all around Texas. That was when that videos you see how to make $500 to $750 in a day and all that. That was him showing me how to make $500 to $750. That's why I know you can make $300 to $500 within the triangle in Texas because he showed it. And then I came back and told y'all. So it sounds crazy if you aren't on that path. And even though we talk cargo van business and all other business and personal development, there's a reason I keep putting that kind of information in. Because if you're one of those people like me, I had mentors, family that helped guide me to that path and kind of push me to that. I got close enough. It's like they pushed me, and I got close enough, and God reached out and yanked me up. So me, I'm going to throw it in there every now and then because I'm going to push you a little bit more till he reach out and yank you up because I want you on the same walk with me because it's so great when you're on. Yes, they will work with you. Man, I appreciate y'all for helping out in the comments. Y'all know your boy kind of catch, but y'all got these things moving fast. I appreciate y'all, fam. As always, coming in the comments, helping each other. I remember one comment I was going to get to, like 3 of y'all, somebody asked about what's a good couriers and all that. And like 3 people had already answered before I got there. Man, all love, fam. I appreciate you. We love you. Got nothing but love. That's my new thing. I got nothing but love for you, baby. That's all right. Yes, Andrew is correct. With them new MCs, the brokers will lowball you because they don't think you know what you're talking about. That's why we talk so much, because you're going to have an idea of what you should be expecting when you get over there. Last line in my email says, last line in my email signature box says, speaks English. That was from Eric. I promise you, it's nothing against us, fam. You know, we love everybody, but there are certain individuals out there. Think about it. Arkansas, I've heard a couple of states, but I know for a fact, Arkansas has already cracked down on it. We kind of touched on it before it came up. When I got the news of it, I told y'all. And as soon as I told you, like a few weeks later, they put it into play. Arkansas is not playing. Like they will literally, when you go through their checkpoints and they stop you and all that stuff, they have a piece of paper that they'll have you read, and you have to read it out loud so that they can hear you speak English. And they also have where you have to write because they want to know that you know how to read and write in English. Sometimes I've seen drivers with earpieces in, and somebody's translating what they hear, and so they're able to speak back to them. But they are literally, and I know it's serious. This is how I know it's serious. 2 reasons. My dad told you he drive the big rigs. They stopped him once, and he had to read when he was pulling in through the weigh station, and he read the paper in Texas. He read the paper. He was out there in Bryan, Texas. He had to read on the paper too. Like when I was coming out of Mission, Texas, for the first time ever, I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm good, like normal. Nope. They went to the back, opened up the van and everything, make sure nobody was in there, make sure, because I told them I had already dropped off and I didn't get a load coming out, but they are checking. So yes, it's not that you're trying to single nobody out, but it just is what it is. Hey, so fam, you going on your first load tomorrow? You better come. Hey, when we make the next video, because we gotta look, y'all get the first insights. We go and pick up a load tomorrow in Austin, and that load is going from Austin to Kansas City. When that video drops, I want you to come on back in the comments under that video and tell us how your first load went tomorrow. All right, Rick? Hey, I want to know. Jay says, dispatch team. Are you asking if I have one or if I know? No, I expect. Tell me what you mean, Jay. Yeah, run it up. Hey, everybody showing Rich love. Run it up, Rich. Thanks for all the game, fam. Guess I had to pay it $3,100 for $1 million down here in Louisiana. Crazy. Might switch my LSC to a. Are you in a box truck or a Sprinter van? $3,100. What, the down payment or $3,100? Break that down for me. Because you saying $3,100 for $1 million in Louisiana. Is that the down payment or is that the down payment and the first month? Normally, when you put a down payment down, it covers like the first month or two. But let me know what you exactly mean. Is it 31 for the year? Like, no, it can't be 31 for a year because that's low. Normally, it's like 5 figures for the whole entire year. So yeah, tell me which insurance, how you breaking your insurance down. Hey, Navi just watched the video for the 350 to 750. Hey, I'm telling y'all, I tell people all the time to go back. Somebody said, how many miles Safeway said, how many miles do you have on your van? I'm in the 80s now. I bought it at 20,000. I'm in the 80s now. Yeah, your boy has been moving. But yeah, I'm in the 80s now. The reason I know that is because the next oil change is 97,000 miles. I work under my fam MC. And no one, with a new MC, can I find a load no one wants and offer to take the load in hopes they will help me get back out there? Would it break the ice with the broker? So they call that double brokering, even though they do it themselves. It's like do as I say, not as I do. But yeah, it's called double brokering. They go against that with somebody else giving the load to somebody else. They even put like we're against dispatchers, even though they got a whole dispatch team. But for the most part, and this crazy because the most part, would they know? I wouldn't know. Would they know? But I'm one of those people. I don't put myself in situations to find out bad things that can happen. So I wouldn't suggest it. But hey, everybody's different than me. Yeah, the insurance. Yes, the insurance company likes to know where you're parked because they're gonna have your address. That's why they want to know where you're at, where it's gonna be parked, and all that. Rich, I see, man. Rich, everybody's sending you to the congrats, man. We ready to see you win, man. Get out there. Hey, BG, are you sticking with cargo vans or will you move up to box ever and why? So again, I don't know. It sounds crazy. I really don't know where this is going. I just look at it from this. I want y'all to really understand what I'm talking about. Let's go back. I retired from the military. Speaker, international. I got reels. One of them's on this page, I think, at the top of the page or on the page or somewhere towards the beginning, or it's within a video. It's within a video where I showed the reel of me on stage speaking in Africa. Like, I've traveled the world speaking. I was speaking. I thought that next thing coming, I was going to be an international speaker growing. Plus, I was, degrees and all that made me learn, plus my big military background, I was going to be a consultant. Speaking, going in, teaching people stuff, that's where I was at with it. That's what came with the writing the books and everything. I'm telling you, stick with me now. You'll see what I'm talking about. And things like I was trying to go into schools and everything, sending emails, making phone calls. And I was like, God, what is going on? Like, I'm not even charging. I just want to come in there and help the kids. Help, because I see the world, we going off track. I just want to help, whatever my part is. And it just wasn't going the way I wanted to. Made all kinds of things. So I'm like, what is going on? And then I was just sitting there one day and I got an email. Stick with me. When I was retired, because it was when I was retiring, that's when we were going through the pandemic. I was sitting at the house waiting on retirement stuff to go. The wife had the daycare, but it still was only so much moving you can move around. And I was bored, so I signed up for DoorDash in Missouri just to get out the house and do something. Because it was at the time, they only let out, you have to be a, what's it called, worker? Essential worker. But delivery drivers were considered essential. So I signed up for DoorDash just to get out the house because all I was doing every day was taking runs throughout the neighborhood because they let us out to do that. And I just was sitting around at the house. Now, years have went by. And now I'm on that walk with God. And I'm like, God, tell me what you want me to do next. I know you told me to speak. I went overseas, went did this, went did that. And then all of a sudden I got the notification. I just threw the phone like, that's DoorDash. Then next time I got another notification. The next day I'm like, what is going on? Like, do they need people that bad? And I was at the house in between journeys. Because when God says sit still, you really have to sit still. It sounds crazy. So I was like, well, I guess this is what I'm going to do. Let me go do it. And I went out there, did a couple orders. And I was like, this is kind of fun. Then I looked up. I took my boy number 3 with me. We would go because we were homeschooling. We would go during lunch. Like we'd go do homeschool in the morning. And then I would take him out PE, if you call it, because he's a basketball guy. Go play basketball. And then I'd be like, hey, let's go. We ain't got nothing else to do the rest of the day. Let's DoorDash. We're making like, at the time, we was making like $40, $50, $60 in like an hour and a half during the lunch rush. So that became our routine. And he was having fun because as a little kid, running around, seeing all this different stuff, smelling all this food, and every now and then he'd get a burger out of it. So he was all for it. So we were doing that. And then it turned into, because I had my oldest in college, my wife was finishing up stuff at the daycare. And so it was just me, boy 2 and boy 3. And then we started going out to eat on Fridays. So I would DoorDash on a random Friday, and that would pay for our food. I'm like, wow, this is amazing. So then I pushed it a little further. I DoorDash and be like, hey, look at that. They paid the electric bill. They paid the electric and the water bill. And then one week I said, let's see what it really does. I went out for the whole week, and it paid all the bills. So their retirement money didn't even get touched. They paid all the bills for the whole month in 1 week. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. I'm telling my wife this, and she's like, this is crazy, whatever. And so after that, that's when we went, and we's like, my wife's like, hey, I want to go on vacation. Where we going? She's like, I just want to leave the country. So we left and went to Bali for like 3 months, then South Korea for 2 months. Then we came back to the United States. We were gone for like 5 months. And then we were talking business, all that over there. We were still working on stuff, and we came back, and that's how we got here. And that's when she said, you like that gig? So I was like, yeah, it pays money, and I don't do anything. And so I looked at another one, got on a couple other VHOs, Amazon Flex. And then all of a sudden, opportunities open up. That's when my boy was like, hey, I got my box truck. You want to drive one? Man, I don't really want to. And before I knew it, remember I told you God's vision. Before I knew it, while I was VHOing, remember those amazing women in our life. I told my wife about this neighborhood we're in. I'm like, you won't believe this. They selling houses with land now. Hey, you can buy a house with acres on it. And it ain't even in the country. It's right by the city. She was like, let me see. Went, showed it to her. She was like, let's go see what the floor plans look like. Went, saw the floor plans. And then it was like, let's go look at a couple of houses. The guy was like, what are you looking for? And I told him, you ain't going to have what I want. And I told him. And he showed 2 houses. And it by the third, because I did the numbers of 1, 3, and 7. By the third house, I was like, wow, this is amazing. He said, you can have it. I was like, yeah, whatever. All of a sudden, in less than 25 days, we had the house. And then on top of that, while we were doing that, an email popped up. Remember, they say, don't do nothing with your credit while you're closing. At the same time, all that was popping up, some car popped up and say, here's a cargo van deal you can have for you. Man, get out of here. But I go with God's flow. Right after the house closed, the very next day, I said something to the people about the cargo van. And before I knew it, in 3 days later, we were in the place and they said, you're good to go. The cargo van's yours, and you just got to wait for it to come from Phoenix. We went from speaking to everything, because you're walking in the plan, falling into place, and put us in the cargo van. So when I tell you I don't know, if you would have told me back then when I was on the stage in Africa that within a year and a half or so that we would be living on a house with land, driving a cargo van, building a business, talking to you on YouTube and teaching what I know, I would have said you're a liar. So that's what I mean when I say I don't know where this is going. I just walk and follow his plan. That's why I tell you to follow his plan. I know we got sidetracked, fam. I didn't mean to get sidetracked like that. But yeah, that's how we got here. Let's see. Down payment. Oh, yeah. So the down payment is $45. Okay, got you. $1,000 a month isn't too bad, especially with $2 million liability. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. $1,000 a month is not bad at all. That was from Unleaded. He's telling you about his prices. I'm Marlon with a Sprinter van. This is Marlon. I'm Marlon with a Sprinter van. I got the basic DAT plan, but I'm having a hard time finding load. Which plan do you recommend? I got the basic too, fam. Go back to that video where the DAT load board. I actually tell you in that video every single filter that I have the load board filter down to, and how I find the loads. So go back to that one, and then it's another video that I actually let you hear me talk on the phone to one, and then multiple videos where I read the email. But go back to that DAT video, and it tells you like what I got it filtered down to and how I find the loads. You had to stop at the agricultural station in Florida. I didn't know that either. Thank you for telling me. This is what I'm talking about. We learning together. Have you heard of anyone applying for the MC before getting a vehicle for purposes of aging it? So it's gonna be it might be possible, but in order to apply for the MC, you have to show that you have insurance. And in order to have insurance, you have to have a VIN number for a vehicle to put the insurance on, if I'm not mistaken. So I haven't heard of it. Not saying it's not possible. Y'all can tell fam in the comment. That's Navi asking that. Y'all can tell him I haven't heard of that, because you kind of have to have one with the other to apply. Yeah, Andrew told you, said, like Andrew said, keeping it real, you need to get with a dispatcher. I tell people all the time, you're starting out, I'm telling you what I know as I learn, but depending on your location, where you at, it's multiple ways. Dispatcher, courier companies, going out there on your own if you had a capital to really get going, whatever works best for you. The van got purchased from Discar. It's kind of like Carvana, but it's Discar, THISCAR.com. It shows you all, you sitting in the house, basically just picking which ones you like going through and all that stuff. And then they ship it from wherever it's at to your location, and it's yours. It's kind of like Carvana. Yep. Y'all answered that, man. Fam, y'all are on these answers. I love it. Does one need to establish an LLC? If you get to this part of the business, yes, because you got to think, you're getting paid for loads. You're going to want a business bank account. You just don't want stuff going to your personal bank account, because if you don't, you're already setting your business up, for lack of better words, to kind of go into failure, because you need to keep personal and business separate. A lot of us, we combine the two, and that's, if you don't find a way to separate them, it'll get you. So you want the LLC so you can set up get the EIN and have a bank account. But you got to have that LLC, fam. Got to get it. Got to get the business. The insurance, I'm not sure if you can use it, although at one time you get VIN numbers. So yes, I've heard of that, with people using their personal vehicle for the insurance company to get the FMCSA, because that's that. Remember, you got to have commercial insurance to do commercial things. So that's a possibility. I just don't know what codes you will use, because when you're filling out the FMC, I guess it don't matter, because the FMCSA won't be able to see it, I get, but they do see it. That's the problem. So when you fill out stuff for the FMCSA, they ask what type of vehicle you have. I remember I told you under 9,999 pounds, basically 10,000 pounds. FMCSA doesn't see it as commercial, but the insurance company does. So when you're trying to get that MC and dot number, the MC number, they're going to want to see your insurance. And in my thinking, whatever you fill out on the FMCSA website, you'll think it will correlate to your insurance, but I might be wrong, because I didn't do that. Mike Jones, there go Phoenix again. I'm telling you, it sounds crazy, but yes, Phoenix is if I go to that west, that Phoenix is but that's how I'm telling you, it's not, if I tell you the life story and y'all sound like mine, it sounds crazy. No stopping at way stations with cargo vans. I haven't. That's what I'm saying. I didn't know you needed that the agricultural thing, but yeah, I don't stop at no way station. We don't fit the requirements of what they see as a commercial vehicle. Now, don't get me wrong, police can do whatever they want to, pull you over, check your van, all that stuff. If you got your name on the side, they figure out you're transporting in the commercial capacity. Yeah, you can't stop that. But for the most part, when you're driving down the street, your van and nothing that you can put in there combined together will equal 10,000 pounds. We just can't do it. How difficult it is to get started once you obtain your van, LLC, everything? Like everything in this in any business is time. It's all time. So getting everything set up and getting going is not the issue. It's the time. So will you be? That's why I tell everybody all the time, if you're going out there and you're just getting started, it's a couple things. Either you go to have your gig app routes, as many gig apps as you can to supplement those days, weeks, months that you're not able to get a load or something like that. Have a courier company, a dispatcher, know somebody that you can already work with, 3PL, third-party logistics. Like, it's so many avenues that you can take, and you have to do the research on that to know which direction you want to go, instead of thinking I'm just going to buy everything, get an MC, hop on a load board, and loads are just going to start falling out the sky. That's not going to be how it works. The only thing that helps save me is my family's MC is already matured, like I said. So even all the stuff that I talk about and do, I'm doing the talking, doing the talking and the emailing and all that stuff. But the MC number over there is already mature. What you're seeing from it, because I started from as low as it could, but what you're seeing from it is once that MC hits that number, you see from me how you can run around, if that makes sense. But it still takes time. You just don't wake up the first day, run out there, and you got 5 loads back to back to back. You got to figure out, like I'm telling you what I'm figuring out, but it's anything else with learning. It's going to get you going, get you started, get you understanding. So when you see it, it makes sense. But there's still going to be things that I haven't even encountered yet that you're going to encounter. You're going to be like, oh, this is something new. Like when I was slapping labels on the boxes, that was something new. I had done it before in the military, but going out here running around, something new. Like it's something that you're going to run into that I might not talk about because I haven't been through it yet. Does one need a dot? Dot comes with the MC. They kind of hand in hand. You can get a dot without an MC, but to even travel across, for Texas, I know, but even travel across state lines, you have to have that MC. The dot is only for in-state, for Texas at least. Y'all have to let them know if it's for the other states as well. Boy, I love how y'all are answering each other in these comments, man. No commingling fun. Boy, y'all are on it. Yes, Navi, the tortoise versus the hare analogy, slow money versus fast money. And that's like with anything in life. Like if you want to go fast, go along. If you want to go far, go together. Use that same analogy for your money. If you want your business to last, get the money fast. I mean, once your business get the money fast, it ain't going to last. But however you want to look at it. But yeah, it's not an overnight success. It builds. Hours of service are for over 10. Okay, you're answering the question. I see. No such thing as fast money in the trucking industry. Yes, that's correct. Like the reason I say correct, because I don't know. Once you get out here, you'll see this. So as I drive all over the places, y'all see, take the big cities out of it, because so many people get, and I was one of them. We get wrapped up in the bigger cities, the Los Angeles, the Houston, the Dallas. I haven't been to New York, but then you hear Miami, you hear the big cities. When you get to those other cities that aren't as big, but you hear about them, but their population is only like 500,000, 600,000. I know that some people that sounds a lot, but I'm from Houston. We're in the millions. So when you get to them, and like Houston, if nobody's ever been, Houston is an hour away from Houston. But you go to other places and you in and out. But when you leave even those cities, the rest of America is land with people with houses and all that. Like you run through small towns. I run through more small towns than I ever will big cities. And the reason I'm harping on this is because Andrew was saying there's no such thing as fast money in the trucking industry. One thing that I've always noticed, when you go to those people with land and all that stuff, there's some type of box truck, some types of big rig, some type of cement truck, some type of trash trucks, some type of cargo vans. And I'm talking about outside of the ones with farming and cows and I'm talking about outside of that, just outside of that. So that lets me know one or two things, because they were old trucks and new trucks, all in between. That lets me know one or two things. And some of those houses are older, some are newer. It's one of those industries that's been, as you all know, been around for a while, but they've been supporting families to a high level. When you think about the way people say how money is and what this costs, we might complain about rates, The rates probably frustrate us sometimes. But a vast majority of those people are living different lives than people in the major city that are through the hustle and bustle. And these are things that you're going to see and learn. But the reason that they got there wasn't because the money came fast. It took time, and they're steady building. I'm talking about I watch it all day long when I'm driving up and down this road. Andrew, they got you in there. They want you to explain. Yes, FMCSA, you have to provide that insurance information within 20 days. They tell you 20 to 25, but you always want to go with the lower number. 20 days is correct. Yes, you need an MC to go outside your resident state. Starting out, I got multiple dispatchers so I can keep my desk exactly correct. When you're starting out, get as many dispatchers as you can. There's no limit. Only thing that I've ever told y'all, don't run for somebody like a courier company that wants you. You can. There's nothing wrong with it. But if you run with a courier company that wants you to run exclusive, you're going to have to run under their insurance. And then by running under their insurance, you're not able to let your MC mature because you have to take the insurance off your van. That's the only thing I've ever said. Like if you plan on running and doing your own thing, I always tell people do not go with anybody exclusive. Outside of that, I ran into a guy in El Paso. He had 8 dispatchers. Which one of y'all can get me the load to keep me moving? Because you always want to press the skinny pedal, not the big pedal, because that's how that money keeps coming. Yes, Andrew, it takes time to build a relationship with brokers and dispatchers. Like some brokers I ran with, Andrew's on the money with it. Like it takes time. I ran with some a couple times. Like I told y'all before, that load that was Pueblo, West Colorado to Atlanta, that was like my 3rd time running with that broker. Because again, you're talking and building relationships. That's that business etiquette, talking like you got some sense. That's how you build those relationships. And that's where it comes in, where you keep things going and it branches off from there. That's why I say, who knows where this is going? Because I've talked to drivers that were driving, built relationships with certain brokers and shippers, mainly shippers. And before you knew it, they had contracts directly with the shipper. And I've also seen brokers that have a lane that might, because when they get those lanes, there's been brokers that have told me, like, I got this lane for 6 months, made this much, because I ask questions, made this much, and we got somebody that can run that lane for 6 months. There's some brokers, believe it or not, some companies do so much volume of work that there are courier broker companies out there that have 3-year, 1-year, 5-year contracts. And if you get on one of them or you get direct shipping and build that relationship, that's where it comes in at. It's all about building relationships. The money varies with dispatchers. Yeah, the money does vary with dispatchers, but the going rate, I've seen between 7 to 10%. You start getting above that, they're really taking all your money. Build a solid foundation and the house will stand forever. Build a quick foundation and things will fall down fast. You are totally correct. Nelson, you are totally correct, because we've just recently seen with the way business with the weather, we've seen houses blowing over just because of the wind. Eric is asking, has anyone used Bravo Express? Business one. Yeah, fam, y'all are in here so I could drive for less money under someone else's MC. Yeah, pretty much. That's how they set it up. But nah, fam, that's exactly how things are moving out here, man. Y'all are in these comments going, edit. And how much did you make your first official month, and how much did you profit? I don't remember. The first official month? So I don't remember that, because I haven't sat down and did those numbers yet, because I haven't had a reason to. I just added it all together, because in the beginning, we're just getting our feet wet. So I do one here, come back home, because I'm big on family. But my very first official month of actually getting out there, we haven't had a full month of just, we gonna go, because I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna go home. Plus the weather kicks in, like to start the year in January, like didn't even go nowhere the first 2 weeks because of the snow. February had Valentine's anniversary, so it's always been something. But I can say on average, if I say on average running, it's not hard making between 8 to 10,000 gross. Yeah, gross, I know 8 to 10,000 is easy. Yeah, I know that based off the numbers. You can do 300, 3,000. You know, I know you can do 3,000 a week easy. The way you run it, the way I run it, at least. But that changes for everybody. So that can kind of go. And when you do that, take off probably like with all the expenses, take off about 1,500, 2,000. So at the end of the day, it can be like between 6,000 to 8,000. That's just doing light running because I'm not running the whole entire 4 weeks. Hasn't happened, most likely won't happen. So you're basically, I'm telling you something based off of a 15 to 20 days outside, if that makes sense. So 15 to 20 days outside, after expenses, I can probably get it to 6,000 to 8,000 take home for 3 weeks basically. Can you recommend Gib any GPS apps you use? I use the one that comes with the phone because, you know, we can go anywhere. So any GPS app works. What's your breakdown plan if it happens on a run with the cargo? So, yeah, that's why I tell y'all to stack that money. Good question, Miss the Quicks. What's your breakdown plan if something happens with a run with the cargo? So the person that I am, something breaks down, if it can get fixed right then and there, because, you know, call somebody out to get it fixed. But if it can't, I'm the type of person, you're going to keep my van and fix it, and I'm going to go rent a van. I'm going to get that. I'm going to get that freight there by any means necessary. That's just me. I'm going to rent a van and switch the cargo over and keep it going. I'll come back, and after I drop it, I'm going to drive right back and get my van, depending on if it got to take some time. You know me. I'm going home till it get done. But I will finish that load if I got to rent. That's part of that making money. Like, I want to build relationships. Part of the business for me is reliability. And so if something happens while I'm on a run and the van can't be fixed like that, I'm going to call the dispatcher, the broker, and keep them all in the loop. So if it's something that might push it back to the next day or the day after and it can be fixed within that day two time frame, then yes, I'll let them know what's going on and get it there. But if it's something that has to get there right away, then I'm going to rent a van and finish it and get it there myself. 90% VA Desert Storm Medic. Can you give a starter site? Can you give a starter site we're operating from Conroe buying it for? Are you asking if I can tell you where in Conroe to buy a Ford Transit? Because I wouldn't know the exact location. That'd be something I have to look up or something. But like I told everybody a minute ago, it's like this car. But if you're just trying to buy a van, shop. The only thing I can tell you is you might not be in Conroe, because being from Houston, I know what you're talking about. You're going to have to, don't go to just one dealership and think that's it. Like, shop around, because I know there's a couple of places down off in Houston, and all they sell is a lot full of vans. You're from Conroe, so this will help you. If you go down now off of 610 and Shepherd, right off the freeway, it's a lot right there on 610 and Shepherd that has nothing but cargo vans all down there, and you can go through and check them all out. Google Maps is great. Yep, that's what I use, Google Maps. But phones, it tells me when. So I use Google Maps just in the city because it tells me whether or not something is traffic and all that stuff. Reason I asked about GPS, there's a Merritt Parkway here in Connecticut and commercial not to go to on there. I had just bought the van, so the cop gave me a break. Oh, I didn't know that. See, that's part of them areas I most likely might not. I'm gonna go up there because I just want to see it, but it's not somewhere I would just hang out and play around in because I just don't have a reason to. Like I said, from where I live at, because y'all know me, the Forrest Gump in me, I can be driving, and I'm be like, I'm going home. But I like that within that 200 to 250 in gas, 4 to 5 gas stops to get home. If I get up in Oregon and get up in Connecticut and all that, and I say I want to go home, that's too far for me to say I want to go home. So I'm stuck. So no, I might go up there to dibble and dabble just to see what it's like, but I don't see a reason for me to go up there, especially with the amount of work in my area, that I don't have to. Nelson's in GA. They're eating out there. Nelson, I see why you're so happy. You eating out there. Waze is good too and lets you know police and hazards. Yes, I use Waze a lot when we were stationed in Europe. Waze does tell you when police because they update it. But believe it or not, Google does as well now. They tell you when stuff's in the road, police, who I don't know who the person is that's on there letting everybody know it ain't me. But I appreciate you. Thank you for telling me when the police and objects in the road. It helps me a lot. Oh, okay. Now I get what you're saying. No. So when you're saying when you start, I had to understand you, DM. But yeah, again, DM, also thank you for your service. Appreciate you, good sir. Hey, sir, ma'am. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to mix that up. But yeah, when you're starting a business, even though we talked about it, yeah, the first thing you want to do, but so before you start filling out anything or anything of that nature, you have to do the research to find out which way you want to go. Do you want to be local? Do you want to be OTR? Do you want to be regional? Do you want to start a company that might be trash dumping? Or do you want to start something that's furniture hauling? Like, there's so many ways this business can go. So before you even do anything, fill out anything, pay for anything, go through YouTube University, look at all the different things. Or if you have an idea that's in your mind that you don't see, or see a niche that industry that you can get into, use that to go down the rabbit hole to see the different things that would be needed or required, or something you might not think about. Before you do anything, though, make sure you know exactly which way you want to go, because it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to give you personal advice or personal opinion without knowing exactly which way you want to go. But I appreciate you, fam, from rocking with us from the beginning. As always, I appreciate you. Don't call me sir. I work for a living. Hey, fam, it ain't, trust me, it ain't against me. Hey, I was raised with a mama and daddy that's born and raised in Louisiana, and it's just some Midwest down South culture, I guess you can call it. It doesn't matter who you are. You could be a 10-year-old little boy, I'm gonna call you sir. You could be a 4-year-old little girl, I'm gonna say ma'am. It's just in me, like, yes ma'am, no ma'am, yes sir, no sir. I can't help you. It's just what it is. But I get it, fam. I know you playing with me, but yeah, that's just how it is. That's how it is. Man, look at the time. Y'all got me up here chit-chatting. I ain't even reckon. We've been going over an hour and a half. And y'all was just going to let me keep talking because you know your boy will talk. But at the same time, I can't sit here because I got the deadhead to Austin for a 7 o'clock pickup. 7 o'clock a.m. pickup, because I already told you, hey, we're going to let the cat out the bag. I know y'all, because y'all fam. I know y'all going to watch the video. But, you know, let you know, because I always tell y'all to go get the bag. I want y'all to get the bag. I know y'all getting the bag. But for those that are sitting there wondering and chilling and relaxing, wondering about is the bag worth it, we're getting our week started tomorrow, going out there, picking up a load in Kansas, Austin, Texas, deadhead over there. It's like 180-some miles or something like that. 160, I can't remember. And we're running that thing up to Kansas City. Yes, sir. And yeah, since y'all already here, y'all will catch it in the video. But yeah, they paying your boy the dollar amount. We getting it for the $7.50. So I'm giving y'all the heads up now. Y'all the first ones to know. I told y'all all the time, y'all will be the first to know. We go and pick up in Austin, and head that 700-some miles up to Kansas City for the $7.50 and get the week started. But yeah, fam, I've been talking to y'all so long that I forgot I need to go lay it down and go chill and relax and get me a quick cat nap in so I can go to running tomorrow. And I only told y'all about that because I want y'all to be inspired, for those that haven't already got their Friday drop off Monday, or those that haven't already got their Monday scheduled to drop off Tuesday. I wanted y'all to be inspired to go out there and get that work as well, because I told you all the time, I'm going to let you know when I get a bag. And since I already know I'm not going to make you wait till tomorrow, I got to go get that bag, pick up and secure it and drop it off. But we going Austin to Kansas City for $7.50. But don't worry, you'll see it in the video on Tuesday. But nah, fam, I'm playing. Hey, I had a good time with y'all tonight. Hey, appreciate y'all for in the comments helping each other and talking through stuff. Man, y'all are a blessing to not me, but to each other. And I want y'all to keep blessing each other. I want y'all to keep getting that bag. I hope the information helped tonight. We're going to keep doing this every Sunday as always. The one-on-ones is still available. We got a couple of slots left for next week, but the week after they still open. Yeah, fam. As always, though, it's time for your boy to go get some relaxation. Gotta hug the kids and kiss the wife again before I get up out this thing, because everybody going to be asleep when I leave. because I got to go get to it. We got businesses to run and businesses to build and information to learn so we can share with y'all. So yeah, fam, get y'all some rest, relaxation. Go get y'all bags because I'm definitely finna go get my rest and relaxation to go get a bag. But as always, you know what I want you to do. I would say to the next live, but that's too far away. That's next Sunday. Until the next video, y'all stay blessed.